Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Secretary Azar, I'll get right to the point. You and President Trump say that you want to get tough on drug companies. So do I. Let's start with the president's promise. On May 30th, the president said that in reaction to the release of the drug pricing blueprint, drug companies would be, quote, announcing voluntary massive drops in prices within 2 weeks. That was 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Now, the same day that the president made those statements, Senator Smith and I sent letters to the top 10 drug manufacturers to see how many had lowered prices in response to the blueprint. And all 10 of them have now responded. 0 out of 10 said that they had lowered any prices. 0 out of 10 gave any indication that they planned to do so. And in fact, 1 out of 10 said prices are going to go up later this year. So maybe you can clear this up for us. Secretary Azar, which drug companies will be voluntarily lowering their prices massively? For which drugs? And how much money will the American people save as a result?
So there are actually several drug companies that are looking at substantial and material decreases of drug prices in competitive classes and actually competing with each other and looking to do that. And frankly, at this point, the biggest challenge is working.
Let me just ask you there. You said they're looking at it.
Well, the reason is they're working right now with the pharmacy benefit managers and distributors. The challenge, this is the perversion of the system we were talking about.
In other words, the president's promise that we would see massive decreases in 2 weeks hasn't happened, and you don't have anyone lined up who's actually going to decrease drug prices.
So what they're trying to do is work to ensure they're not discriminated against. Oddly, the fear is that they would be discriminated against for decreasing their price.
Was that true when the president made the promise?
They're working to ensure they're not discriminated against for lowering their price. You should focus, if I would suggest, on the PBMs and distributors who might say to these, do not decrease your price.
Exactly where the president told us to focus. He said there would be massive decreases in prices within 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, and there have been no decreases and an indication of increase. Mr. Secretary, you said you wanted to get tough on drug companies, but under your approach, it seems that the drug companies can just keep charging people more and more. The only thing you've done is set it up so maybe if a drug company reduces a price, you can give them a cheap PR moment and then let them jack up prices later. But let me look, since we're under time pressure, at the president's other big promise, the one he made over and over during the campaign and several of my colleagues on both sides have referred to, and that is that he was going to, quote, negotiate like crazy over drug prices. I didn't see that in this plan. Instead, the president proposes moving patients from getting their drugs through Medicare Part B, where copays are capped at 20%, to getting their drugs through Part D, where copays can go as high as 40%. So, Secretary Azar, if a so-called negotiation ends up in raising Medicare drug prices, it's not a negotiation at all. It's just a bad deal for seniors. So here's my question about this negotiation. Can you guarantee that no Medicare beneficiary will pay higher drug prices as a result of your plan to change drug coverage under Medicare?
So it seems to me that your perspective is we should be happy with the status quo in Part B, where we pay $30 billion for drugs and pay the list price with no discount whatsoever.
It's a pretty straightforward
We're challenging
question.
the status quo, and you're not.
Yes or no? I just need a yes or no. Can you guarantee that no Medicare beneficiary will pay higher drug prices as a result of your plan to change coverage under Medicare?
As I said to Senator Bennett, the whole point of our working with Congress on looking at how we might introduce competition and negotiation to Part B is to deal with these very complex questions. And of course, we want the beneficiary at the center. We want to make sure that they have choice. We want to make sure that their medical needs are met by introducing modern techniques of formulary management and pathways for them.
So that sounds like a runaround to the yes or no question.
We're going to work on it
You're going to work on it, and maybe some beneficiaries will end up paying more? Is that what you're saying, Secretary Azar? That's not going to be good for those
As I said to Senator Bennett, if we can bring 20 to 40% reduction in Part B, that will be so much money in savings, we should be able to figure out how to ensure the protection of beneficiaries through this process.
Secretary Azar, what we're talking about is moving people to a plan that has a higher copay. And I asked the question now 3 times, and you've given me no answer at all. You cannot guarantee that there will not be Medicare beneficiaries who will be paying more.